Hello. Hi. Hey. How you doing? How's it going? Happy Sunday. I guess. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. How's it going, Poncho and Raven? Turkin Man, emotional robot Turkin Man. That's how that goes, right? That's how Turkin's theme song goes. Yeah. POV, Polly is your mom. Don't think I'm not watching, fucko. Right? Right. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going, Taylor? Hey. Sunday fun day, burgers on a buns day. Yeah, that's what today was. Today was a burger day. Big old burger kind of day. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Oh, but yeah, it was a pretty lazy day. I just kind of like wasn't gonna stream today. Actually, it was a spur of the moment thing because like I was looking at Steam last night and I saw that they were doing a narrative games event promotion or something, and I was like, oh hey, like there are a few games that I know of that I'm looking forward to. Maybe they're doing a demo for one or two of those games that I might be looking forward to. So that I can check those out. And one of them that I've been looking forward to quite a bit actually ended up having a newer updated demo from the looks of it. And I've held out on checking it out since I originally put it on my wish list, which was quite a while ago. But I decided, you know what, it's time. Let's give this a look. I'm ready to dive in. I'm ready to give it a look. Demos for visual novels have been a pretty okay for me in the past. So, you know, like Corpse Factory coming out, and then finally gonna have a look at Solace tonight. But yeah. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing well and squeaky clean. Don't know how long tonight's stream's going to be, because again, this one was just kind of off the cuff, and yeah, there, Corpse Factory, emotional corpse. So apparently at some time during this game's production or something, the name of the game got updated to like Solace State Emotional Cyberpunk Stories, but nothing else in my library reflects that. And I could swear that subtitle was not there last night when I checked on, the demo, to download the demo. That subtitle was not there. So either I'm blind, which is 100% completely a valid thing that could have happened, or that just popped up overnight. How's it going, Beepner? How's it going, Beepy? You doing good, Beepy? Hope you're doing well. Hope the day has treated you well. Hopefully the storm systems have moved out of the area. I know it seemed like you had some rancid ass storm systems going through there yesterday. So you started Trails in the Sky the third as well. You got your ass beat by the first major boss. I did too. So it's okay. Hilda, oh god, that sucks. Also, shout out to the person hanging out on the wall tonight. Everybody, please give a follow to Tafeta Velvet, who's hanging out with us in spirit tonight. That's who be hanging on the wall tonight. So, yeah. I think they're on hiatus right now. I think they just kind of like streamed a whole bunch and then ended up getting a little burnt out. But I know that they're going to be back to things in a week or so. So, yeah, give them a follow. Good, cool people. Been fun to interact with. You know what we need to do, well, we need to start interacting with some goddamn video games. So why don't we go ahead and do that while I go deb and then go No, that's not the one either. That's the one. And then we go down here and then we go That's way too loud. All right. So this is Solace State. Going into this a bit blind. I've heard that the demo is a bit lengthy, so we might get a little girth out of this tonight. Solace Snake, or Ghost in the Shell, Solace State Society, which I feel is probably, that's probably like more what they're going for, I bet. That's probably a thing that, will feel right at home. Like, I bet you'll get some Ghost in the Shell vibes from this. I bet there's some hacking. There's probably people hacking, I bet. Oh yeah, Emotional Snake Society. There you go. We got all, we in case the Deb is watching, we got all sorts of ways we can help you out with this title. We're gonna get hacked. We're gonna get hacked. Let's hope not. Let's hope that we are the ones doing the hacking and that there's not a bad hacking minigame. Nothing makes me sadder than bad hacking minigames. Hacking them brains. Delicious brain. All right. So, have a quick look. These are the fine, lovely people responsible. So that when you find something to appreciate in the video game, you can go, hey, I know who did that. There's a cultural consultant. That is a rare credit. I don't know that I've seen that kind of credit in a video game in a while. Or ever. I think there's... Yeah, I can think of maybe one or two that I've seen with a cultural consultant. Ontario Arts Council. Oh, okay. Looks like this game got some grants. Vivid Foundry. That's good. That's a good credit sequence there. That's pretty good. We made some shit up and read about culture on Wikipedia. There you go. All right. We're gonna start the damn video game. How am I sounding, by the way? Do I sound good over all the droney guitar? Are we good? Game audio is low. Okay. Because it's kind of droney stuff, so I'm not sure where I should put it. Let's give that another one or two and see how that feels. Okay, how about now? How we feeling? How we feeling with me, the game audio, and me also dropping frames? Ambient music makes cyborgs cry. But if we sounding good, we can go ahead and get started. Now that we've got more of a songy song going. I'm gonna take that as a yes, that everything's okay. Alrighty, so how to play. Yeah, damn cyborg, I'll make you cyborg. I'll make you cryborg. There we go. All right. Works best with a mouse. Xbox controller, not what I'm using. Chloe's thoughts, special act only. Okay, what happened in the prologue? Chloe Lee recalls her harsh childhood in an autocratic place with secret police. She and Rebecca, her mentor and best friend, made use of Chloe's latent powers as an icono-hacker to escape their home on the outskirts of Lenora's capital. Hacking. All right, we're already hacking. Now 22 years old, Chloe travels to Abraxa City. She is seeking Rebecca, who has gone missing amid the chaos. Onward toward the demo. Oh, that's fancy. Look at this. Oh, look at this. At 21 years of age, Chloe considers herself much more worldly and an intrepid hacker to boot. But she can't seem to help gawk at the sheer scale of Abraxas skyscrapers and dense harborlands. Look at this shit. Abraxa is a self-sustaining city with freewheeling market liberties and the appearance of autonomy due largely to its distance from the seat of power in Lenora Station. We got nothing on Lenora right now. I'm assuming maybe some of these... Oh, what's this? We got a book. Okay, so we got Okay, we got a codex, but maybe some of this stuff is not working right now, would be my guess. So this thing's got a codex, it's just probably not all the way filled in yet. Alright. Oh, look at this. But suddenly, all pretense and due process vanished as a digital smokescreen known as the Haze censors networks in tandem with a military-enforced lockdown encompassing the entire district of Zircon Hill. All civilians who happen to be in the neighborhood are cordoned off from the rest of society as military checkpoints since last week, with no supplies nor digital communications passing to and from the outside world. Chloe's here because she needs answers. Rebecca is missing, and the last she's heard from her is that she's busy within the Zircon Hill neighborhood. Okay, my oldest friend, who knew me as my first tutor and mentor. She's a talented traditional hacker who's able to find creative solutions. If it wasn't for her, I don't know where I'd be. She moved to live in Abraxa to start her own life 2 years ago. So the interesting thing is, like, this is done in Unity, and the way we're kind of like moving between buildings and stuff for all these like little scene transitions so we can put the dialogue up and stuff on the buildings and shit. It looks like they had to build like entire maps, and they're just like panning a camera through them and then like kind of bringing in the dialogue as a 3D object. Just kind of a fun little thing. They've always kept in touch, even as Rebecca found new life for herself in Abraxa that's separate from Chloe. After graduation from Artechne Roundtree University in Versiva a year ago. Okay, so the Artechne I attended with Alden, located in Versiva, a more sprawling campus than Axane, and we got nothing on Versiva yet. Even when Rebecca traveled to heavily surveilled states, Chloe had still exchanged correspondences spruced up with her feel motes. Remember emojis several years back? Unfortunately. This is that, but I can also send and receive serotonin and dopamine when you broadcast a happy expression, if you have permissive settings for that sort of thing. We live in a weird biochemical bar. That's fucked up. That is a really weird thing that you can do to someone. I'm gonna send everybody horny feel motes now, don't worry. Chloe has a bubbling fear that something is wrong, despite that Rebecca said all is cool, stoic gazes and nerves of steel. Her mentor often doesn't practice what she preaches and tends to get involved. It's not that she's not more than capable with her MacGyvering brain and her annoyingly taut muscles, but Chloe can't help but think that the timing of the lockdown and Rebecca's disappearance are more than just a coincidence. To stay in the city, Chloe hopes to blend in with these experts, taking advantage of her work placement as a journalist with the media outlet Topologist to have a work visa. Okay, Topologist, a leading news broadcast with its share of household name pundits and polished broadcasters, made maybe only 25% incorrect election predictions in various world nations. 25% incorrect. Why you catching feel motes? Now that she's on the ground, the anxiety of balancing Topologist intel gathering while ascertaining Rebecca's safety needles at her. Oh, we got instant messages now from Hakeem. The local culture in Abraxa is really something else. There's always someone willing to deep dive into their philosophy and opinion about their experiences. According to Digital Zeitgeist right now, Abraxas everywhere outside of Zircon Hill are furious. You'd think they'd be willing to share a lot with an outsider like me. Yeah, no doubt there are many who are sick of the conglomerate Nexier's oppression and secrecy. Nexier's the one enforcing this armed lockdown, fraying Abraxa's hard-won liberties. Okay, so Nexier is a biotech conglomerate with fingers in basically every pie. Pretty out-and-out evil these days. Their private militia orchestrated and maintains the Zircon Hill lockdown. Whoa, this isn't even your assignment. How did you even get time to be so nosy about this, Hakeem? It's an interesting assignment. I never got such interesting assignments when I was your age, and in a city that I have a lot of memories in as well. You know, I met my sweetheart there. I met my sweetheart here. Such romantic vibes in this city. For example, the Fathom Piers. If you know where to look. Well, I clicked it, but it didn't let me click it. Hakeem's a senior journalist at Topologist. Chloe likes to think it's her innate sleuthing and writing abilities that made him dote on her the most most among all juniors in the outlet. Ugh, please don't overshare. Yeah, I'm not here for your life story, dude. Hey, I'm leaving you in the very capable hands of a local specialist and friend, aren't I? He'll give you the lay of the land that I'm no longer privy to. I'll send you a wish you were here postcard from Abraxa while you're running reports at Versiva. That joke didn't land so well considering the military lockdown. Sorry. As I was saying, my friend Torrent may be young, but he'll definitely know a few people who are stuck in the lockdown as well as their relatives and friends outside. There are likely many good interview sources just through his network. Something tells me that he might even have lists to keep track of the folks who are missing and likely stuck within the lockdown already. Yeah, it doesn't have a duck button, unfortunately. Hakeem doesn't know outright that I'm concerned for a friend who's likely trapped in lockdown. How should I try to probe Hakeem to see how far I can trust this torrent regarding Rebecca? I can just ask how Hakeem knows Torrent, or I can admit that I may know someone who's missing without naming Rebecca outright. How much do you trust? Torrent, be forthcoming about my missing friend. All right, chat, what are we doing? Are we gonna ask about Torrent, or are we gonna be forthcoming about having a missing friend in the lockdown? We're gonna ask about BitTorrent. All right, that's all votes for BitTorrent. Let's go. A young guy who knows so much, huh? How did you come across this torrent again? Oh, hey, it's Hakeem. We got a picture now. He's a local fixer for one of our investigative journalism documentaries 2 years ago, which overlaps well with how well he's tapped into the talk of the locals, both digital and on the streets. This includes vernacular gossip and a community politics that's hard to tap into from the outside without a local. Huge foodie to boot. Hey, him and Poncho is gonna get along just well. He's got a really vibrant map of the city. Don't let up on the opportunity to try some of his food recommendations. What does he currently do? Works hard to come by, so his skills are underutilized, but he works part-time with a housing nonprofit to help underwaged people find housing in Abraxa. And of course, we try to give him freelance assignments as a fixer now and then. Let's go all get some dim sum. I'm here for it. Why'd you ask? Just wanted to know your opinion as someone who's going to be a good source to me, that's all. So how much do you already know about the situation on the ground? Well, I know lockdown is happening in Zircon Hill, and that's ostensibly because Nexier is looking for a terrorist. Okay, Zircon Hill. Okay, I'm gonna guess we got nothing on location. Is this filling up, by the way? Oh, see, there it is. See? We got, this is filling up now. Sephore's manager. Groups. Got feel motes and Nexier. Okay, this fills up as you go. Never had genuine dim sum. I mean, maybe I was on the side when I got regular try. Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. It's good stuff. Well, I know the lockdown is happening in Zircon Hill, and that's ostensibly because Nexier is looking for a terrorist. What kind of manhunt doesn't release more info about the person in question? Indeed, well, Zircon Hill has a reputation for the many community leaders and activists who live there. Is there any friction between the activist community and a company as big as Nexier? What do you know about Nexier? Well, they started off as an infrastructural company in roads and urban development. Then 2 decades ago, they just got a lot of resources in developing a private security, kind of like mercenaries. I'm guessing it's lucrative considering that now they're diversifying into emergent biotech. It would be interesting to learn who the stakeholders are to push such seismic changes and why. That's why I'm on the ground. So what do we have? What do you have? What do we have to get done in Versiva? Our boss wants us to pitch a new business plan to get more founders on board for a human rights investigative journalism team. Can't say I'm fond of our marketing tagline though. Be human together. Holy crap, it's so bad. What are we, an AI company? Help me pressure topologists to give us a raise and write better taglines. I'll help you. It's not that easy for me to influence a sizable reputed world news source, you know that. Why do I even try so hard at this outlet? I ask myself the same question every day. Oh, we get more. Do we care about human rights or do we want to sass about promotions? Do we want to get sassy or do we care about people? Yo, Millie! How's it going? Beepner wants us to get sassy. We're gonna get sassy about promotions. I just want a promotion so that I can take over your role sooner. Now you're just giving me a hard time. How's it going, Millie? Hope you're doing well. I learned from the best. You have a lot more to learn yet, young grasshopper, about international networks and the art of negotiation. Sass about human rights. I would sass about human rights all day long. Well, we're friends, but maybe that joke was too much at his expense. Oh, I've arrived now at Fathom Piers. We got nothing on locations. Working on music? Nice. Man, this game's got some style for a visual novel. I'm gonna say that. I really like what they're doing with the visual novel format and how we're playing around with location a lot more and stuff, and not just like, you know, talking heads on screen, which I got no problem with talking heads on screen. It's fine. But I'm really liking how this game's presenting itself so far. Got your luggage with you? Did you end up asking Torrent to set you up with an encrypted apartment like I suggested? Yes. Oh, good. Knowing you'd prefer to have your ear close to the ground, I figured getting him to freelance finding you a temporary residence is better than some stuffy hotel. You'll like him, I'm sure. I'll decide that for myself. I can't believe the sun's already setting. By the time I'm set up with an apartment, it's bound to be late at night. Prime time for real hackers doing what real hackers do to find intel, of course. Real hackers need sleep too, though, and you've been traveling for the better part of the day. The flight was long enough to catch a few hours of rest on the way. I'll be fine. Okay, I'm not gonna tiger mom you, Chloe. Meet up with Torrent, get settled in. You need anything else, we have this encrypted channel. What, tiger mom? I've never heard that as a verb before. Anybody ever heard the tiger mom as a verb? You can trust Torrent. That's what my ISP did not tell me. They did not tell me that I could trust Torrent. We'll see about that. Oh, neat. Look at this, we got person. Anyway, I'll let you know when I have more concrete information or juicy gossip. Sometimes gossip's what helps society buffer through difficult times. Stay safe, Chloe. You too. This is neat. Yo, is that Torrent? Is that our boy? The moment that Chloe makes eye contact with Torrent, she feels ripples of electricity unlike any other, like a unique time signature that's hitherto unwritten in musical notation. Her eyes skim over him from head to toe, scanning for cybernetic implants and biochips, seeing none. Alright, we finally got us. Hello, user Chloe here. Iconohacker par excellence. I specialize in IDs and brute force hacking. I used to think I was the only iconohacker there was, but apparently not. Torrent. Abraxan local, an iconohacker. Kinda cute. He's younger than me. Hakeem vouches for him. He's an icono-hacker, just like her. Okay, what are icono-hackers? Finally, we get that. Intuitive hackers, someone who doesn't need cybernetics to be able to plug into the digital world and manipulate it. Aren't supposed to exist. Jazz hands! I wish I could do jazz hands. Or jazz stumps. Jizz hands! Oh no. Is Red here? Oh god, don't tell him I said that. A vision of something that she cannot name bubbles inside her, and she wonders what he specializes in to affect physical and digital world at the neural electric level with but a thought. Oh god, Torrent's kind of hot. I kind of like him. How's it going, June? June hands. Jizz jazz. What's Mac DeMarco up in these days anyway? Chloe, right? Yeah, Torrent? That's me. Let's get you set up with an apartment. Man, I'm loving what this game's doing with its presentation in its entirety. It's so dope! Yo, Axel, how's it going? We are checking out the visual novel demo for Solace State. Why did I say Solace like that? It's Solace. I don't know why I said Solace. It's Solace. It's a really cool cyberpunk visual novel thingy-madooter so far. But I hope you're doing well, Axel. Torrent seems so quiet to Chloe at first, all pursed lips and navy hair hiding his eyes. Chloe can't sense his ID. His icono-hacking makes his digital ID slide from her perception like oil on water. Solace State. Quantum of solstice. But probing deeper, Chloe can feel the fluidity of his neuron conduits dance just underneath his skin. Her face warns. Is this a trickle of sweat coursing down Torrent's jawline? Lady, I think you may be, eyeballing this dude a little more, than maybe appropriate for a first-time meeting. I don't meet people and immediately go up to sniff their sweat glands, okay? Maybe chill a little bit. Yeah, it's been pretty dope so far. The presentation is pretty wild for a visual novel. They're definitely doing something a lot more cool and interesting here than you typically see with the format, which again, I have no problem with the typical visual novel format because I've written 2 of them, so it's totally fine, but I like what they're doing here. Sweat seems jarringly human for someone's irradiant with labyrinthine codec power that his skin appears chrome to Chloe's icono-hacking sentences. My soul is steak. She is looking respectfully. I am looking lustily and in an objectifying manner. Yeah, I'm into this dude. I'm here for it. Where's the romance button? Can I press the romance button and romance him now? He catches her staring and they both flick their gazes away. He's bringing up the proper protocols and forms to set Chloe up with a humble rental apartment with the season's fluidity of a local. Chloe's mind topsy-turvies to wherever Rebecca's lived in a space like this one, if she's ever had a hard time falling asleep at night and worry gnaws at her. Do you ever feel like you're the last person in the world? Well, okay, I guess we're all just gonna be weird. She's gonna sniff you. She's gonna sniff your sweat glands, and you're just going to get philosophical. That feels like a pretty good trade to me, I guess. Pardon? Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Never mind. No, I want to know. Like, we're already this far, my dude. I'm sniffing you. You're asking me these deep existential questions. Let's just get on with it. You just sound so different from everyone else. I've barely said anything. I met your hacking. I've never met another icono hacker before. You sound like a chorus of voices overlapping with one another, but somehow not discordant. It's comforting. Is this guy hitting on me? I mean, it's working. Oh, you sound like something poetic. I've never met another icono hacker before. I don't know. I kind of want to pick up I kind of want to pick up what he's putting down if he's flirting with us. What do you say, chat? Do we want to pick it up or do we want to go the professional route? I'm always on team flirt with the cute boy. Poetic. We're flirting with the cute boy. You sound like waves on a faraway shoreline. You're very quiet. Man! Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's nice. I always hear too much. It's soothing to not feel completely surrounded by other people sometimes. Oh, I guess that's nice? You're flitting around so quickly in the digital layers and I'm having a hard time reading you. This is the most intense futuristic flirting I think I've ever had to deal with before. If that's the case, is the inverse also true for you, that you can move around so quickly that you can't hear what other people's socials and bios? Okay, socials, as in social media, can be both encrypted private channels and massive unfiltered communities. Anyone who's anyone maintains their voice on FiberNet socials like it is a necessity for their livelihood. Oh boy. Bios. Our human biology wrought down in metrics. I personally specialize in reading adrenaline and the amygdala, as well as basic things like heart rate. All the world's electric, and neuroelectricity is something I can sense. I wouldn't want to hear that all the time. Like, I have to like switch away to like a more private Twitter list all the time because sometimes it just gets too noisy for me. I can't do more than one Discord at a time. Are you kidding me? I couldn't live like this. Yeah, that's a good way of phrasing it. That's why I don't typically hear people much. That's so interesting and unique. Wonder how we'll work together. Your iconohacking focus is on displacement, illusion of teleportation, I'm guessing. Moving data around faster than anyone else. Did I get it? Ah, yes. You do something with bios? Yeah, reading all the data on a person, plus fake IDs and all that jazz. Being all the instruments in the orchestra, really. Horny on the brain and everyone knows your thoughts. That's a thing from, it's an organ. It is also a thing from Shin Megami Tensei. Getting to know me so well already, as expected that a displacement hacker could move so fast. Oh, we moving fast. We moving fast. So, the apartment leasing contract. I'll need your personal information here, please. That's a good way to ask for it. Had somebody try to get my number one time when I was picking up a pair of glasses. He was real slick about it. He was like, I'm gonna need you to write your number down here. And I was like, dude, that's not a form. That is a piece of paper. I commend your effort, but no thank you. Connecting pronouns like their dog. So, the apartment leasing contract, I'll need your personal information. Can't just search me up via hacking? Doesn't seem like a polite for a first meeting. Cute. My name's Chloe Lee. I'm 22, born on January 18th, 2007. I work with topologists, as you know. It's my first job out of university. Yo, it is visual novel time. How's it going at Donta? We're doing well so far. This thing's been pretty dope. It's got a crazy good presentation for a visual novel. It's got a lot of cool motion graphics and stuff going on that you'll probably see the more we get in. But now we're in conversation mode. Hope you're doing well. Sounds like you were eating good this afternoon with some fat fucking burritos. I like me some fat fucking burritos. I'm gonna be making me some fat fucking burritos later this week, I think. Some with chicken, I think. Here's 2 months of paychecks. I've already sent in my credit score via my company, but I want to know more about being in your company. Huh? What about you? Tell me about you. I'm not the one filling out a form. I just wanted to know about my partner in crime going forward. I mean, you're going to be telling me things about Abraxa, like Hakeem said, right? Oh, we finally get to... Okay, Hakeem is my senior at Topologist. He lived in Abraxa for some time, but travels the world for news reports and conferences. He's a fun, family-oriented guy. Just like my streams. Fun and family-oriented. I guess we can go here and look for him now. Oh, we got everything now. Look at all this. He's 38. Dude is literally decrepit old man. Feel motes, Iconohacker, socials, bios. Nice. Family is the most important thing. Like the Fast and the Furious. Exactly. Okay, oh, right, Torrent is my chosen name. I'm 20. I've been in Nebraska all my life. That's about it. Also, I'm very cute. You forgot to tell me that, Mr. Torrent. You forgot to tell me that you're very cute. That can't be all. Well, Hakeem likes saying that I can help people find others. I'm not sure if that's true, but I'll do my best. How do you know each other? Why does he say you're good at finding others? Now, which way do I want to dig? Why does he say you're good at finding others? Why does he say you're good at finding others? Oh, I don't know. I don't think he used the word good. Next to you, I think you're much better at that sort of thing than I am. Huh? That's the first time someone's tried to humble their way out of giving me an answer. No, I mean it. Your abilities include information extraction from other people's bios, right? So that's a much more direct correlation to finding someone than displacement abilities. Yes and no. I would have to be within my quantum tunneling range, which is more or less the visual range of being able to count the number of fingers on a hand, except that it can't go through barriers. We're getting rules for how these powers work as to class paying attention. There will be a written test at the end of this stream. So not so helpful to find a person in a metropolis when I don't know the lay of the land. I do know the city well, and cars can sometimes reveal a lot of information about where people are. So, who do you want to find? Okay. Sephora and her manager Rebecca, a good source for my story. My best friend Rebecca went missing with Sephora. I don't know if it's Sephora or Sephora, so I'm just going with Sephora. Don't ruin this for me, Beepner. Don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare. I'm trash canning that message. It's out of here. I don't see it. I don't see that message. That's funny. I do funny jokes. Alright, we want to open up a little more to this guy. I want him to start feeling me. I want him to catch some of them feel motes. You're not banned or anything. I just funny deleted a message, by the way. It's not that big a deal. Alright. My best friend Rebecca's missing since the Zircon Hill lockdown. She's now working as Sephora's manager. They're both unaccounted for at this moment. Oh, they're a cute couple. Wow, okay, not focused on their relative talents, but because they're dating each other? Sephora's got so many films under her belt of both of the production side and as an actor. I canceled you live on stream! It's over, you're done! You'll never stream in this town again! I'm sorry? Sorry, I'm being randomly defensive about, well, what people say, and just everything out there, you know? Not your fault. My nerves are just shot from the situation, and I want to find them safe. It's alright. Hey, I get it. You just got off a long flight, and you've not even unpacked yet. And for some reason, I can sense that you're tired. Really tired. I'm not usually this good at reading people. Maybe it's the Iconohacking connection? Maybe so. Thanks for trusting me by mentioning that it's your best friend out there. I really hope we can find them both. Oh, I'm much more popular. Okay, dude. Like, let's not get into popularity here. Like, if my streams went away, I don't think that it's not making a dent anywhere, friend. Don't make it weird and thank me. Oh, well, I'm not really trying to. I'm not trying to make you feel weirded out or anything. Oh my god, this guy is so soft. It'll help me get a better night's rest just knowing what we're gonna do next. Okay, sounds like we should plan for how we might do this. This whole presentation again, I can't stop calling out. It's so cool. Not to mention we have a lot of untested variables here. How will our abilities sync up with each other? Or let's start with what our known limitations are. Tell me a time when you've lived close to the edge. Chloe, how are you so open about this? I mean, Icona hackers are either treated as an urban myth or entrapped in a test tube lab. I'm not saying I don't appreciate you being like this, but it's just taking me a bit. It's just taking me a bit. Sorry, habits and yeah. I'm not open about this to just anyone. I trust Hakeem's vouching for you. I don't think that it's a coincidence that he put the two of us together, and I also really want to find Rebecca. Okay. And you're a bit like an open book, even without my Icona hacking gathering data on you. But if you're shy, I can start. My ability to read data on a person works by intuiting what their top of mind thoughts are and extracting such associated digital media. Well, there's this one time when I tried to project a fake ID over myself and one other person and tried to impact data. Got caught trying to prevent a lot of non-profit money from getting sent to the pockets of a vicious death squad. Turns out I can do no more than two things at once: maintaining two fake IDs or maintaining one fake ID and scoping out someone's bios and intel. Okay, again, written test at the end of the stream, chat. Got my eye on you. Geez, okay. I'm glad you're all right, since you're here and all. Yeah, but I don't have a story to top that one. I tried to get my older brother out of a sticky situation with Nexier once. Oh shit. My displacement works like an illusion. For myself, it works all the time. For other people, I need to have eyeline sight of them every few seconds for it to work. It can be somewhere other than where I appear to be or to everyone, but unfortunately, when I encode the displacement on other people, including my brother, it's only about 15 odd folks to perceive them at the fake locations. Okay, so we got rules to deal with here. Then what happened? We'll save the rest of that story for another time. Uh-oh. Sounds like things might have went a little squirrely. You tease. I'm not trying to. So, can't use your powers for chaos and steal priceless artifacts from colonizing museums during their opening hours, huh? Nah. And you can't just hide all the innocent people under lockdown and then bundle them out? No, I've got a max of 3 people I'm bundling with my displacement technique. Though I do alright when hacking vehicles and getting us to the right places. Why do I get the feeling you're being humble right now, and you're the kind of person they'd write rap songs about? Your drifting skill! Really? Is that the best compliment you can pay someone? Chloe is really good at flirting. This is definitely a line that you should pick up and use on the next person that you were interested in becoming closer with. That's not true. I haven't helped anyone out of lockdown yet, because alone I don't think I can get safe. I don't think I can safely get in and out with someone else at all. I wish someone would compare me to Ridge Racer. I'll work on it. I'll work on finding a way to compare you to Ridge Racer. We'll get there, I promise. We still need some way of getting past that haze. You said you need to be within the quantum tunneling range to pick up fake IDs and hack information. Can you build fake IDs from the owner's data extracted from cars? Well, let's test this out. Torrent, despite his shyness, is a careful and meticulous planner. They continue to strategize as the early evening eddies around them. Planning like this with someone who knows and cares about the nooks and crannies of a neighborhood that they're breaking into brings her into a focused state unlike any other. Also, there's a pleasant honesty about Torrent, and Chloe feels perceived by him. You ever just feel perceived by somebody? Hold on. I'm perceiving you right now. Do you feel perceived, chat? Perceiving. I am perceiving each and every one of you. Do you feel adequately perceived now? I'm perceiving, Millie. Millie, I'm perceiving you. Perceive these nuts. Wait a sec. Does Hakeem know that you have a vested interest in covering this story? Uh-oh. Deflect by teasing Torrent. Do we want to be honest? Or do we want to tease Torrent? I'll let the chat choose. Are we gonna flirt or are we just gonna be honest about it? We are teasing! Unfair. Just by asking this question, you're about to sense how I feel and get an answer out of me. I'm not good at reading you yet. It's like ink blot impressions. Hard to pin down. Are you making fun of my emotions? I'll have you know that I contain multitudes. Chloe's not used to not being able to just know someone's adrenaline levels and general health. Without conscious thought, she reaches out to touch Torrent's pulse on his wrist. His eyes widen. All normal things that you do to somebody. Torrent's displacement ability comes down hard on her encoding. She mentally twists away. Trying to succeed at reading Torrent with her bioscan is like trying to separate oil from water with her bare hands. Hey! All right. I'm just doing one last test, and a test on what syncs up between you and me. I know I can think of a few things I want to sync up between us. You can somehow get vague impressions of my feelings via our kind of You can somehow get vague impressions of my feelings via our Arcana hacking link, but meanwhile, and unfairly, I can't use my usual tricks to figure out how you really feel via bios. You're not shutting me out on purpose, are you? Not consciously. Anyways, you don't need to know how I feel. Sorry. That's valid. I'll stop teasing you. Please save your energy. I don't want either of us hitting code rot. Uh-oh. Don't hit code rot, anybody. Code rot. What happens when Icona hackers push themselves too hard and end up causing psychological damage to themselves? What damages the brain can also shut down the body. It's not pretty. Depending on the severity, it can lead to lasting repercussions. I mean, Hakeem tells me to try to be as light with my Icona hacking as I can so that I don't disrupt people and things that I don't have to. He's never been ballsy enough to tell me he's never been ballsy enough to do that to my face. I've only really started coming into my Icona hacking in the last few years. Well, that's respectable. So you're like the eco-tourist of the Icona hacking world, huh? This Icona hacking world is a population of 2 as far as I've personally experienced. Okay. Admittedly, same. Also, she's got a really cute smile, by the way. Really loving the character designs in this game. They're just very nice. 2 people you need to wake up at pre-dusk tomorrow morning. All right, I can take a hint. We've got our plan. Gonna wish you a good night then. As he leaves the building, Chloe can't help but notice that the flurry of his movements via his Icona hacking obscures the sound of his heartbeats like sheets of wind. Chloe knows better than to be restless the night before a stealth attempt. Nonetheless, it's almost too thrilling and strange to fall asleep. Oh, it looks like we're about to stealth everybody. All right, give me a second here. When Chloe and Torrent are still, oh wait, did we get his info? Yeah, we got his info. When Chloe and Torrent are still miles away from Zircon Hill, the whole district looks like it's under the dome of a frozen smoke and a physical manifestation of the haze. The haze is an electromagnetic interference that can shut down hubs of FiberNet. Looks like a thick cloud of synthetic fog. Nevertheless, the 2 Icona hackers refuse to let the clouds of censorship set a pall between their their parlay. Chloe learns that Torrent has lived in Abraxa all his life, and the neural circuits instinctively encoding the fabric of Abraxa's streets to long-form memory. It's more than just a photogenic memory, but an experiential recall of the places he's been. The tutoring center that he had been a part-time cleaning job at during his teen years, whilst watching his richer classmates get premium education, the aunties downstairs who taught him how to make dim sum on dim sum. Yo, we're getting dim sum. This is gonna be a great date. My boy can make us some dim sum. Chloe envies him as she doesn't have a place where all roads feel like a second skin. The closest she's been is her days at the Artechne University campus back in Versvia. Privately owned universities around the world. The first campus was founded in Abraxa by the Aldridge family in Exane neighborhood. The one I attended in Versvia is sprawling compared to the one in Abraxa. All right. Yeah, how's it going, Gunblade Warrior? Is this a cyber version of Silent Hill? I guess, maybe. Like, the fog is more there to kind of just censor stuff rather than not make it, make it scary. Hope you're doing well, though. Dim sum for the rest of them. Oh, we got a thing going down. Before the border end to Zircon Hill and Chloe efficiently pastes fake IDs over Torrent and herself, the majority of the streets going into Zircon Hill have a mix of concrete roadblocks and military checkpoints armed 24 hours a day. With Torrent's patient understanding of the region, they breached a weak point in next year's border security by weaving through a building and catch their breaths in the alleyway. Well, our initial hypothesis stands, despite not being able to sandbox it. The haze is blocking everyone with those those with high clearance Nexir IDs from connecting to the fiber net. High-speed digital communications via electromagnetic waves that can penetrate deep into the earth, into the oceans, and the sky. There are many private, self-contained networks in FiberNet. Our random fake IDs don't really get us very far in all this, except to give us a measure of anonymity. Well, the silver lining is that your fake ID abilities still work, which should follow that most of my abilities will work normally. So the next step is to get real Nexir IDs as covertly as possible without causing any dangerous incidents. So where you scan down for car registrations, yeah? Shouldn't be that hard. Nexir high-ups tend to have sharp-looking cars, which is kind of out of place of what most of Zircon Hill's residents can afford. So yeah, targeting the cars should help us avoid crossing paths with real Nexir to get a set of networkable fake IDs. Brilliant. Just like we tested. Lead the way. Yo, Shark! How'd I get into the beta for Musk's Twitter? Oh, God. Now everybody knows I am a billionaire, too. Secret's out. Sorry, everybody. I'm also causing the destruction of the world and also a horrible human being. How you doing, Shark? Hope you're doing well. This fine evening. This is proving to be a very cool cyberpunk visual novel that we're checking out. Really loving the presentation and where the story's going so far. Doll hairs. I have so many doll hairs. There we go. 128 Veltensa Terrasect down 3 blocks. Hack Sergeant Wen's car. Why not Sergeant who? Or why? Inventor of hyper poop. Yeah, that's the genre of music that I invented. Hyper poop. Okay. Oh, what are we doing here? A pack day schedule. Whoa, okay. We got stuff we can look at. Okay, Sergeant Aspen Wen has a rigorous, orderly schedule that may mean that he's well trusted in his station. At 7 a.m. he goes to military training center, and at 9 a.m. he checks into the work canteen. By 10 a.m. he's checking the equipment logistics and sending reports to his supervisors. By afternoon, he is in Zircon Hill with his riot and crowd control team in rotating squads marching to and holding different parts of the neighborhood. At 7 p.m., he goes home to a wife and a daughter in Axial Main Street, in the home of gray glass skylights. Miss Yushine Wen is a full registrant of this car's engine. Let's just take the IDs then. Yoink! Here's Sergeant Aspen Wen. He's a good Nexier Networks access with his crowd control specialty. I should probably take that ID, yeah? I know how these guys talk, what their weaknesses are. I figured military-industrial complexes and egos are the same everywhere. Well, Nexier used to be heralded as heroes in the protected city, and some people still have a lot of deep trust in that corporation. They own a lot of infrastructure that folks rely on. I guess it's never uncomplicated, huh? Yeah, fine. I'll grab his wife's ID for myself. She's also Nexier, and we can also pretend to be husband and wife. Isn't that just so cute? Gosh, happenstance, right? We're actually married now, cute boy. So not to completely be locked out from the network. Okay. It works out swiftly as Chloe applies their fake IDs with nary a blink of her eyes. Torrent's locational tracking makes sure that the real wins are nowhere near. Okay, I see what's happening here. This is kind of cool. You can see it kind of happening now. Capable of isolating packets of data and making sure that people do not cross paths, his specializations work together like hers, like halves of a whole. You get to play house and seize the means of production. Oh, let me see about their dispatches so that we can weed out any surprises, or you can tell me if there's something suspicious. Okay, officer dispatches in the last 2 days. Loitering at Rutherford Road. Half a dozen officers requested to remove loiterers and vagrants in Rutherford Road nearby. Middle school complex, ensure prevention of damage to property and electrical networks 37 hours ago. Drug bust at Urina Power Plant. Who's the narc? Special opposite power plant should not engage with location unless they're given explicit orders due to sensitivity of the operation. Violations at Haven Court Community Center. Threat of altercation. Lockdown curfew in Haven Court Community Center. Okay. Sent 45 minutes ago. This is Eric Adams. Chloe's thoughts. I should start off by telling Torrent about militia dispatches in the Haven Court Community Center. It's the most recent entry, and the community centers are likely places where lots of people can gather, so there's bound to be some good intel. Torrent would know if it's worth putting out. It would know if it's worth putting out our itinerary. Okay. Read less is my goal with engaging with any media, especially visual novels, right? Seems like there's a dispatch sent to reallocate those Nexier scum to Haven Court Community Center for violation of curfew. That's garbage. Hold on, you said Haven Court? Yeah, why? You told me while we were planning yesterday that one of the last people Rebecca messaged was Sueli. Sueli is one of the best-known community program managers in Haven Court. It's literally her home turf. If we found nothing suspicious on the Nexier comms, I was about to bring us there. Unfortunately, yeah, we need to get there ASAP. As they reach the community center, Chloe can feel Torrent sag as they take the chaos unfolding before them. Sueli stands in the middle of a cluster of a half a dozen militiamen, hemming her in and prodding at her. Uh-oh, this is probably not good. Oh no, this is bad! She holds her ground as much as she can, her voice low and gesturing for calm, but it's clear that the nod of the locals around them is taut with distress. A breaking point is coming. Sueli's body folds into the ground with the sickening sound of a rifle hitting flesh and bone. A collective inhale of anger radiates outward before turbulent shouts overlap into jagged noise. Torrent looks away. Oh shit, my brother's lurking over there. Uh-oh. That's probably okay. What? Torrent, pay attention. Sueli's... Why does he have to be here? You're probably gonna lash out at Nexier and for symbolic reasons, or not to be able to keep his temper. Or you ever lash out at somebody for symbolic reasons? It's a real, you know, just kind of like, well, you want to get your feelings out, but it's, you know, it's mostly symbolic. Call Torrent out for not mentioning his brother or ask Torrent to stay focused. I think I'm gonna get him to stay focused, like not worry about this right now. Dude, I think you need to be calm. This is a stealth mission, remember, friend. This is a stealth mission, stay calm, stay focused. I can keep an eye on him. You just keep in character and out there. You just keep in character out there. You're wearing the skin of a superior officer. Shame the Nexier goons into submission or appeal to their sense of humanity. Just make sure they leave and leave Swaly alone. Right. Okay. Appreciate it. I'm dropping my Mrs. Wen ID to do other kinds of icono-hacking to support you. We'll get Swaly out of there. Uh-oh. Is this like, am I gonna fuck up? Is there a save button? Like, is there a I can't save Swaly and I fuck up and game over? Oh no! They're putting me in charge of a very delicate situation. Anybody that saw me play Guerrilla War knows that I don't do well in hostage situations. I'm about to get a big ol' minus 500 points on this one. Torrent heaves a shaky breath. Chloe watches with goosebumps as Torrent eases himself into the crowd like an oil spill in concrete, barely taking up attention until he's in their midst. Chloe sees Torrent sharpen his gaze to try and play his part, but only a slim majority of the Nexier soldiers part ways to salute him. Chloe stiffens. Ma'am, the soldier's aggression was unwarranted. Let me help you up. Oh, okay. This is how we know, like, he is speaking as the superior officer now. Soldier, you've got some explaining to do. We aren't going to move ahead to this region by beating people into the ground. You think vermin like her would listen to orders? These pests just keep trying to stir up trouble. We gotta put them in their place. Swaly, aided by Torrent, raises cautiously to her feet. The other soldiers are still hovering around her, not letting her leave, so she's angling herself between them and the community center's front door. She must have a will of steel about her. I've got a wheel of steel. Torrent's eyes flicker to Swaly first, and then the soldier brandishing his rifle at Swaly. And Chloe senses that Torrent generated an invisible wave function triangulating between the three. Considering Torrent's personality, Chloe presumes the Icona hacker has shifted his soldier's perception to Swaly's location between one blink and the next to keep the community leader offset from the line of fire. Chloe acknowledges how fraught the situation is. Torrent cannot cast his displacement hack on all unarmed citizens in such a large crowd, or on all unarmed citizens in such a large crowd, and so there are so many innocent lives at risk that if a fight should break out, they're putting me in charge of a real tenuous situation here. This will be a 10 if I don't do something. If Torrent's about to get rid of these guys, I'll have to hack the head goon and send him info and that he can work with. Well, I guess we're hacking Finn. All right, Finn. What do we got? Okay, so we're hacking the dude that is getting all up in this dude's face, like, hey, we gotta beat these people down. Belly! Hey! How's it going? We're checking out a very cool cyberpunk visual novel right now. It's a little complicated and kind of hard to explain. But basically, we're hacking into people and we're trying to defuse a situation that's kind of a hostage situation. We're gonna man-hack. Okay, what do we want to look at? Finn used to live here. Happy birthday, my boy Finn. Happy birthday to my wild child. 5 years old? 5 years old? Is this dude's 5, or are these just old messages? Picture shows a boy catapulting fearlessly off the playground slide. Zircon Hill Little League gains surprise win over favorites. Finn Marston, 13 years old, turns out to be a horse player. Okay. Hackermans is going. Yeah, we are doing some Hackermans. So we're hacking into a dude and we're learning stuff about him because we're going to relay that information to the other dude that has hacked somebody. Okay. Misdemeanor court summons. Ooh, what'd you do? Misdemeanor battery charge Zircon Hill yesterday. Said he was convinced that the man had something to do with his job dismissal, but management and Morris says, okay. Flagged for abuse, not surprised. Yeah, I'll find someone else to buy old sofa. Okay. Chloe, what are your thoughts? Famous forum posts sneering about how Zircon Hill is a vermin breeding ground, but he and his single mother have lived here for years. He must have some sort of inferiority complex about coming to... Oh! I know what we're gonna do! We could either appeal... We could mock him for his hypocrisy, or we could appeal to his empathy. Since he grew up here, and he's just kind of being shitty because now he's the one in charge. But I'm gonna look at this other stuff first. On work, due to previous behavior issues, including violence against a colleague, court records show that Finn paid a significant settlement and was fired. Nonetheless, he still has a record and can't find a new job. The second hiring letter next year has made him sign an agreement to his subsistence wage for 16 months in order to avoid a prison term. Oh, with the terms of his hiring, Finn was not provided with health care benefits. Oh, okay. So with this, we could mock him for hypocrisy and appeal to his empathy. We can sow distrust about his violence. And couldn't afford to go to university. The message suggests he wants to make more money to take care of his ailing mother, but there isn't much money going around. His mother ended up in his aunt's home, and his aunt treats both her own sister and him like a second-class citizens, constantly insulting them. She also traps Finn into getting her Nexier pain blocker. Finn loathes her. Mock him or appeal to his social issues. Undertreated injury. Finn doesn't make enough money to pay for physio for a painful recurring spasm, a shattered kneecap in his right leg. As for a more expensive option, there's no way Nexier doesn't have more advanced treatments that could cure it within a week. Guess Vim doesn't warrant top shelf care. All right, how do we want to play it? Do we want to like bury this guy, or do we want to try to appeal to his empathy? Because it looks like all of these kind of build one way or another. Like we can try to like empathize with him and back the situation down in a nice manner, or we can just be a straight up dick and start fucking with him. How do we want to do it? Of course, we are kind of making new boyfriend do these things too. So I guess that can be a bit of a problem. All right. All right, I guess I'm handling this one on my own. All right. So I'm gonna mock him for hypocrisy. You're from this neighborhood. Now you're here making trouble? Overcompensating for something? Who the fuck do you think you are? Both options sound delicious. They do. Admit it, you're taking it out on the people of Zircon Hill because you think you're better than them now that you're in Nexier. Does the rest of the crew here know that you still haven't amounted to much? Shut up! Ben, you're a man who's been here most of your life, and now you have such an inferiority complex that you're bullying people online about it? If anything goes wrong, a bunch of civilians could die. It's a real tinderbox. I'm a softie and I want everyone to be friends, and I don't want Fim to have to smooth. Yeah, there you go. Sure seems like the people are furious with him, but even the other soldiers are smirking at him now. Alright, we got people laughing at him. Swaley, although shaken, clearly wants to remain in the conversation to protect her community. Okay. Encourage better behavior for healthcare. Finn couldn't afford to go to university. All right, we'll go the Raven route here, and we will. We'll talk about his mom, and we'll appeal about social issues. Look, I know it's rough living in the city. It's expensive. You need to help your mom pay the bills, so you're in this job. Everyone's just trying to make ends meet. Bullshit. You make 20 times more than I do. You have no idea what it's like. No, we don't know exactly what it's like, but these are common experiences in this community. We all need access to healthcare. We all want to take care of our own. It hasn't been fair to a lot of us. So don't take it out on people who could be your allies. Oops, might have gone too far there. I wasn't minding who I was pretending to be. Should be alright. Look, everything looks like they're at least thinking about what both you and Swaly said. Okay. Swaly hovers restlessly, like she wants to interject but isn't given much opportunity to speak up for herself. Violence. Telling me stuck at his job, or let's encourage better healthcare. Let's try that. Your medical records show that you've only received basic care for your leg. What about it? Well, to get your act together here, I'm sure I can put in a good word. You don't have physical disability coverage at your job, right? What happens if it worsens? Fem has a haunted expression and a weakness of being exposed to all and sundry. Watch it, you bitch! I'm not the enemy here. The system that prevents anyone from getting back to... Oh boy! Oh boy! Hitting a little too close to the real life feels now, video game. That ain't fair. Oh, man. Man, Swaly, she knows what she's saying. Even the folks gathered around are taken aback by how outrageously uncaring and competitive Nexier sounds. Swaly looks dismayed and frustrated. Film held her gaze for a second there. It's sublime how folks rose around Swaly now, buoyed by her fearlessness and forgiveness. The militia shuffle uncomfortably, giving way to Swaly's gravity as she is embraced by her people. Enough of this. No higher-ups are going to be happy with your behavior, Finn. What you're all doing here is a waste of Nexier's resources. Oh, shit. Oh, you must be seeing the approved server request to put in for your... you must be seeing the approved server request to put you on paid suspension. This is just a slap on the wrist, you'll see. We'll let internal supervisory decide. The rest of you escort Finn back home. If you deviate off course, I'll know. Worried about having their complicity exposed, the rest of the men rush to follow Torrent's orders. In the flurry, Chloe notices an encroaching shadow. She has to quickly decide whether to burden Torrent with yet another emergency. Uh-oh. Oh, no! His brother is here to fuck things up. Oh, that's good. Torrent's brother, Courier, he has a concealed syringe. No time to try and get data. Torrent's brother has a syringe gripped in his hand like a weapon filled with God's knows what. His adrenaline is spiked and he's fast approaching the knot of soldiers with Torrent in the middle. Should I warn Torrent and tell him to do something, or just make Waylon briefly forget what he wants to do? Ooh. This is kind of ethical now, isn't it? Do we kind of, Do we want to tell Torrent, or do we want to hack his brain? You decide, chat. Someone just gives someone their insulin. Waylon just wants to make somebody experience what it's like to live in Hinamizawa. All right. Do we tell Torrent, or are we changing his memory? All right, I will decide. Okay, we're hacking his brain. All right. Boom. It won't do to shake Torrent's attention now, with so many civilians and soldiers' attention focused on him. Without the capacity to build another fake ID, the best we can do is make haste in the shadows as he sneaks up on Waylon, watching for every tell of his next movements. From 2 meters away, Chloe can clear an uninterrupted line of neural electrical current between her bios and his. Within the heart-racing seconds, she finds what she needs to effect. Chloe momentarily blocks his short-term memory of the concealed syringe. It's like plucking the very semiotics of syringe from one's mind and turning it into an unreadable conceptual mush. Of course, it might be a problem if the syringe was in his long-term memory too, but that'd be a highly unusual kind of foreplanning. As Chloe predicted, her hack disrupts Waylon's trajectory, and he peers confusedly at him, blending in with all the other locals for the time being. Chloe sees Torrance staring her way, his face still fitted in Wynn's frowns. Chloe belatedly realizes that her spike in quantum energy output is unlike anything that she's done up until now because memory writes require a particularly high concentration of it. You, what are you doing? Your brother had a concealed syringe. I made sure he didn't, I don't know, stab you in the back for strutting around his Nexier? So what did you do? I thought you knew how to read data, not write. I altered his short-term memory so that he'd forget about the syringe. Could you not take such a risk? I know my brother. He'd never hurt someone. You couldn't have found a better option? I think we made new boyfriend upset. I calculated the risks. I've been at this longer than you. I can read when someone's adrenaline is poised to attack. Even if his weapon won't leave lasting damage, you think these soldiers won't use that against him once they discover what he did? You could have told me about it. I could have handled him. I just went with something that I thought was a surefire solution. You had everyone's attention on you. Memory stuff is scary, Chloe. It's a drastic and invasive and a violation of mine. It's a little scary that you went there first. I was cautious. I made sure that the memory was narrowly defined. Shouldn't it be used for emergencies then? Not to mention that you could hit code rot with that concentration of energy and lose your narrowly defined control. It was an emergency, and I've managed this knowing my own limits. I'm worried, okay? For both of you, I'm worried. Does he suffer from long-term memory loss? I don't think so. Then you know how I feel when I made that decision. You just completely surprised me with it. I'm sorry. If you meet Waylon, would you tell him the same? Never mind. Let's just loop back around and be ourselves again. Fine. Rendezvous at the alleyway. When they meet each other again on their own skin, they take a moment to breathe through what happened. Chloe gives Torrent plenty of space, knowing that the younger man has had to do a majority of the heavy lifting in that operation. All right, that was a lot. I want to check in with you. How do you feel? I don't know. I hope I never have to do that again. Want me to calm down your adrenaline a bit? Dude, calm down, Chloe. Like, he's not so hot on people fucking with him. You already just fucked with somebody without their permission. Let's not go fucking with something else. That's fine. Don't worry. I'll be fine. I just want to know, how do you calm down from all this and be yourself again? I just feel like there's something so uncertain about playing it being someone else and then being yourself again. Yeah, it's challenging to not disassociate. Breathe with me. Focus on your 5 senses and how you uniquely feel things. Name 5 things that you see and 4 things that you hear, 3 things you touch. And that unsettled gut feeling, it's real, and I can't. And I don't think that it's just because you took a fake ID of someone whose role is one that you're diametrically opposed to. It can take a while for you to feel like yourself again when you're playing a fake ID under stress. Yeah, you got me. Well, I'm not a good actor either, so I felt like my stomach was flipping inside when I'm practically pitching a softer version of Nexier. Like, what if I'm playing the good cop of what if I'm playing the good cop of Nexier? There's so many bad, horrible things that they could have done. Did the words I say justify them? Yeah, that's tough. Well, for what it's worth, Zircon Hill seems pretty against Nexier as a conglomerate, and that one good cop isn't going to change things. Yeah, you're right. You're getting the local politics already. Just repeating what you've taught me. A lot of people have been holding their breaths, and while we've cleared the air this once, the bigger issues haven't been solved. Yeah, so let's take one step at a time. You'll feel better once you see Swaley again, I think. Let's go inside, yeah? Okay. Thanks for playing. Alright, that was pretty rad. Definitely, that's probably a day one buy for me anyway. I really dug what I saw there entirely. Like that, I think it makes a pretty damn solid case for itself in its world building, its characters, its dialogue. Didn't know Swaley was in this game. But yeah, like I'm totally here for what this game's doing. It's got a fun world, great visual presentation, great music, like the dialogue, like the characters. I think this is gonna go places. It feels like definitely one to check out. Don't know when it's coming out, but definitely gonna be keeping me an eye on that one. Oh, show. All right. So, with that said, I think that's going to do it for us here tonight. I'd considered doing some just talking afterward, but I think that's a good place to stop it. That was a good, fun little romp. I think the next time we will be together is the next episode of the Sox Cast, which we will be doing next Sunday evening. I don't know that I'll be streaming anymore this week. I can't think of anything that I want to stream off the top of my head, unless something does come up, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And the weather's supposed to be really nice this week, and I kind of just want to get out and enjoy it, honestly. So I don't know that I want to be stuck inside, dorking around with video games and all that stuff. I got 2 podcasts to record next weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah, probably no more streams this week. But we got 2 in a row, and this one was like unplanned, but I'm glad we did it because I got to play this very cool video game that I'm now even more excited that I get to play. So go check that out. It's called Solace State. You can find that on Steam and put that on your wish list because I think that's definitely going to be a very cool thing to watch. But for now, let's see you streaming. Let's see you streaming. Send out some love. Let's get people. Look at that. My good friend, Twin Tail Nami. She's over here. She's playing some Vampire Survivors. Everybody loves Vampire Survivors, right? We love that game here. We all stan Vampire Survivors in this neighborhood. So let's all go give Twin Tail Nami some love and a big old shout out. And I will catch you all on the old Twitter during the week and for the Sox Cast next weekend. But until then, take care of yourselves, everybody. Have a nice rest of your week and all that fun stuff. Bye-bye.